Wow, do you have a mess on your hands with this train? Well, I'm going to teach you how to fix it. Are you someone who has experience with a mix of sewing but is looking to get into the bridal sewing niche? This channel is for you. Hit subscribe to become a part of the community. Hey, welcome back to Bridal Sewing Techniques, and today we're going to talk about how to French tack a wedding gown train. Now, another word for this is just adding the stabilizing tacks to the train to keep all the layers nice and neat and beautiful for the whole wedding day long. So your first step is going to be super simple. You're just going to lay the train out, stack all the layers as neatly as possible. You're going to first align all of the center back seams of the train together. There's usually one French tack that's keeping all those layers together from the manufacturer. Sometimes it has been torn, but you're going to look for that. That's going to be your first place to orient you. Then there's usually tacks at the side seams at the bottom of the skirt. That's keeping all of the side seams stacked nice and neat together. Make sure those are stacked together. And then you're going to make your way across the train, stacking all of the layers neatly and evenly, get them to look nice and picture perfect. And then you're going to put a pin where each of these X marks are on the gown. Now, every gown and every train is different. You may not need this many tacks as what is illustrated here. You just do what looks best for the gown and causes the train to be the most manageable, but also look really nice. Now, can you take this train and just put it under your sewing machine and make machine tacks for these tacks for your train? Yes, you absolutely can, and sometimes I do. But sometimes doing that, stacking those layers so tightly together can kind of crush the loftiness of the train, and we don't want to do that. That's when it's important to learn to do these French tacks. I'm going to walk you through the whole process and let you see it in real time, and then I'm going to do slow-mo later on in the video for those of you who want to practice along with me. So basically, we're going to double our thread. So I put both ends of the thread through the eye of the needle, pulled them through. So my thread is really like 4 strands thick at this point. Now, if you want more information on how I made that knot, there is a video on how I knot my threads, and I'll link that above. This upholstery thread, 4 strands thick, will fit through the eye of the needle just fine because I'm using a very strong bridal strength needle that I use every day. It's Richard Hemming & Son large eye needles, sharps, size 1, and I link to those on my website, bridalsewingtechniques.com, and the products page. I'll also link down below in the video description. Now I've stitched through and just went through the loop there, and I made one more stitch, and instead of pulling it all the way through, I left a loop for my left hand to hold, and my right hand is just passing that thread through. Wait a minute, my hand was blocking that, so let me show you this up close. Here is me making the knot. Don't forget, there is a video about that, how to knot your threads. So this is a nice shore large knot. I'm gonna dip into the fabric and I'm gonna lock my knot. Guys, when I say I'm locking the knot in my videos, that's what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to go back through with a stitch but not pull it all the way through, and that is going to form that loop that we're going to start doing our French tack with. Okay, now let's get back to the actual video. I did it about 10 times. Now I'm going to lock it. Don't panic if this is going way too fast. Remember, I'm going to show it slow-mo here in a minute. Just trying to give you a general idea of where we're going with this. I go through the next layer and then push my needle through the last knot in that French tack and pull it through. Now I'm going to make another loop here, and we're going to do it again. Grab through that loop over and over again, 9 or 10 times. You can even do it more times than that if you really want the dress to be nice and lofty. So we're going to keep going through. When we're done, we pull the needle all the way through, dig down into that next layer of tulle, push the needle through that final knot, and we're going to do it again. Now notice we're only doing this one layer at a time. We're not stacking the layers together and then doing this. So we're going to keep going. We're almost to the end of that thread. Knot it off. Then we're just going to grab that top layer, go through it, stab right through that last knot, and then knot it. Now you are going to always want to do your knots at least 3 times when you finish something off, and then also touch just a little drop of the clear hypo cement to the knot so that you know that it won't come undone. Upholstery thread is nice and strong. That's definitely what you want to use for this job, but it does like to come unknotted. So you want to make sure you have plenty of knots and just a touch of that hypo cement. Again, you can always find that on the products page of my website, and I'll also try to link to it down below in the video description. If you guys ever have a question, please leave it down in the comments. I don't really produce videos extremely frequently. They take a long time. I'm a small business owner. I'm a mom. I'm doing my best to share this craft with you guys, but I do try to always be very, very active in the comment section here on YouTube. So thank you guys so much for mentioning things that I've left out or asking questions there. I love to clarify. All right, so you can see the little jump that we have between each of these layers that's going to allow the dress to remain lofty. Now let's look at this slow-mo, okay? So we have put our knot in and we have looped our thread through twice, and instead of pulling it all the way through that second time, we grab that loop with my left hand, and the right hand is just passing that thread through that loop. It kind of reminds you of a chain stitch in crochet. So again, you're just pulling that thread through with your left hand. You're pulling it through that loop that you made by not pulling your stitch all the way through the fabric. Now, if this is confusing to watch it, just adjust the speed on here. If you need it even slower, you can go to the 3 dots and adjust your playback speed on here. And definitely get you some thread and do this along with me. I feel like it's a lot easier to learn these kind of stitches if you're actually stitching while you're watching, so you can work it out. You can pause it and go back and do that as many times as you need to. Now here is that part where we're going to just barely dip through that tulle layer. Just barely grab a little bit of it, and it is strongest right there at the seam because it's 4 layers thick there. You're going to pull it all the way tight. Now you're going to take that needle and push it through that final knot that was in that kind of like the chain tack that we were talking about, the tailor's tack that we just made. Push it through. Pull it all the way through, and now it's time to make our new loop to start making this French tack again. Here we are gonna scoop in there. We've already gone through the knot, so we're just digging in a little bit just to get our loop started again. So as you can see, it's just like making a stitch, but you're not pulling it all the way tight. I'm getting it with my left hand. And of course, as you work, sometimes that loop in your left hand is going to be bigger or smaller. Just depends on how much thread you're working with and really what size you want it to be as well. So here we go, making this French tack again. French tacks are an easy, affordable way to make the train perform so much better, both when it's down and when it's bustled. I've found that when a train is very sufficiently French tacked, the bride can get by with fewer bustles, and that saves her a lot of money and you a lot of time. I hope this has helped you. Please hit like, share this on social media. It means the world to me. Hit subscribe and hit that bell. I know what you're looking for. You've been sewing for years, but you want to get into full-time bridal sewing. But there's something missing. You're missing the backroom secrets, the industry tips and tricks. The tools, the sources, the techniques that give you the speed and the accuracy that the industry demands. You have found it.